A moment later, all 6 branches of the Great Tao of Destruction Origin appeared in Luo Feng's mind. Without the complete Great Tao of Destruction Origin as a reference, it's quite a bit slower than practicing the Great Tao of Life. Luo Feng revealed a smile. After becoming a God King, his soul foundation became more and more majestic, his thinking was faster, and he was all in a better state. 1 epoch was worth 20 epochs before. Even though it's slower, it can be much higher than the average level of a God King in the Origin continent. Luo Feng was still satisfied. But there was also something that gave Luo Feng a headache. Master gifted me 10 chaotic origin crystal spirit fruits for me to use in the Chaos Realm, as well as the first-level God King. Luo Feng gently shook his head. However, my body and soul at the first-level God King are far beyond the same level. The effects of the chaotic origin crystal spirit fruit have also become weak. This 12 epochs, Luo Feng had taken 1 chaotic origin crystal spirit fruit. The speed of thought felt like it had only increased by 30 or 40%, and the state of his soul had slightly improved, and that was all. The rest of the chaotic origin crystal spirit fruit, leave it to the ancestor Yuan. Luo Feng thought, to the ancestor Yuan who was still in the Chaos Realm. This chaotic origin crystal spirit fruit was still extremely effective. Whoosh! Luo Feng took a step to the edge of the wall of this layer of the Star Tower. Chaos Whole 6 strikes, a set of killing techniques from the special inheritance, Chaos Whole Beast Body. In terms of sophistication, it's even better than the first 3 of the 72 Blades of Annihilation. To perform it with a world life form, I have a clone that is estimated to have most of the strength of that Tian Kuan Kingdom Lord, and it still can't shake the Star Tower at all? Luo Feng touched the tower wall. When he had just become a God King, his combat moves were weaker, and his combined might was inferior to the Tian Kuan Kingdom Lord. It was only due to the fact that he had many clones and extremely strong vitality that he was a bit more difficult to deal with. But now, Luo Feng only needed to send out 2 clones, and his frontal combat was no worse than the Tian Kuan Kingdom Lord. There were some reasons why Luo Feng was able to make it this far. The achievement of the Great Tao of Life Origin, combined with the special inheritance, comprehend the 10 directions world forms. Great Tao of Destruction Origin achievement, together with the special inheritance, comprehend the 1 strike of the Chaos Whole 6 strikes. The invisible and formless ability to change the material of the 10 directions world forms. The massive soul foundation brought about by the perfect life form. The will of the ultimate level God King bottleneck. I'm in the first level God King. I'm considered very powerful, able to cross over to rival some second-level God King with extremely deep accumulation, Luo Feng thought, but with my accumulation today, I'm not even qualified to cultivate the first realm of the perfection level inheritance, the 9 realms of extinction. The first realm of the 9 realms of extinction belonged to the first realm chapter of the God King. The perfect great inheritance, the entrance needed to surpass the God King level will. But in reality, those who could surpass the will of a God King level were generally just a handful of existences within a origin world. These perfect level inheritances also made Luo Feng realize that there is a mountain that is still high. He himself seemed to be excellent, but he was only within the origin continent this side of the origin world. This Star Tower, I refined and controlled it a long time ago. I couldn't even notice its specialness when I was an eternal true God, Luo Feng secretly said. At that time, he was too weak, and the help that the Shi Wu wings had given him was all stronger than the Star Tower. I remembered that during the primordial universe period, I felt that the Blood Shadow Blade, the Shi Wu wings, the Boat of Mausoleum, and the like, were all stronger than the Star Tower. At that time, it was truly a treasure pearl in the dust. I'm now able to rival an extremely accumulated second-level God King, and I still can't comprehend it. Luo Feng felt that even if it was some secret treasure weapon that surpassed the God King level, with his understanding of the Great Tao, he could at least peek out a little bit of the mystery. But the Star Tower, he couldn't peek out the slightest bit at all. One should know that one's long years of nurturing the Star Tower, which was like a part of one's own life, should make it the easiest for one to probe the reality. Teacher Sitting Mountain Guest is also at the first level of God King, and his realm is not as good as mine when it comes to the Star Tower's refinement of the secret patterns. The reason why the Star Tower is so special, it seems to be the refining process, a golden light that was accidentally incorporated. Luo Feng carefully felt the Star Tower. This time, the realm breakthrough still couldn't peek out the slightest bit. I don't know what realm to be able to peer into its reality. Luo Feng put it aside for now. He immediately sat cross-legged and started to practice the Great Destruction Heart Refining method of the Lai Yuan technique. Rumbling. The 6 branches of destruction were all comprehended. Luo Feng only felt as if the great destruction heart refining method had transformed into a dark chaos enveloping Luo Feng's spiritual will, crazily squeezing, crushing, and strangling. Under this kind of might, Luo Feng's spiritual will naturally became more condensed, morphing visibly at a perceptible rate. The progress of the Great Tao of Destruction helps the Great Destruction Heart Refining Method a lot. Luo Feng's heart delighted. Although the spiritual will was transformed, the strength of the will was still deathly limited to the bottleneck of the ultimate level God King and couldn't be raised by the slightest bit. Huyang City, City Lord's Mansion.
Master.
Luo He. Morosa and Yuan came to see Luo Feng at the same time, and one of Luo Feng's clone came out to meet them. What happened to make you two look for me at the same time? Luo Feng looked at them with a smile. Nowadays, this side of the force under his command covered a full 20 territories in the surrounding area. With the strength of Mo Liming and Ma Yuhu, they weren't capable of managing such a huge territories. Therefore, this territory was mainly managed by Morosa and Yuan, and below that, there was a large group of eternal true gods. Yuan had an illusory clone, and his path of cultivation was to understand the operation of all things in heaven and earth, so he was willing to arrange for an illusory clone to understand the operation of the origin continent in different capacities. Morosa, as a world beast, had a clones when he was weak and could be invisible and formless and did not need to cultivate and had enough spare time to eat, drink, and have fun in various places and could also command many affairs. Morosa looked at Yuan, who was on the side. He was a slave after all, but Yuan was Luo Feng's master. Of course, in the world of cultivators, a lot of importance was placed on the relationship between master and disciple, but for master, on the contrary, it wasn't valued that much. Firstly, the master and the subsequent disciples might not even have met each other than once. Secondly, the lifespan of a cultivator is too long. Master's master? Master's master's master? If you really want to count masters, you can count a bunch of master. However, Luo Feng and Ancestor Yuan had an unusual relationship. From Luo Feng's point of view, Ancestor Yuan had protected the entire human community for a long time, but that alone was beyond respect. From Ancestor Yuan's perspective, Luo Feng was the one who saved him from the middle of the primordial universe suppression. On the path of cultivation, Luo Feng had also given him a lot of help and was in trouble. Ancestor Yuan said, to manage 20 chaos states you have to recruit many eternal true gods. During the recruitment process, we discovered a hidden force. Luo Feng listened to managing 20 chaos states. Each week there were several large cities and numerous ordinary cities. The number of eternal true gods recruited for each chaos state would probably be in the hundreds. This is already considered to be recruiting less. When we recruit eternal true gods, we naturally select the elites. Ancestor Yuan said, but we found out that the eternal true god elites of every chaos state are quietly being recruited and taken away by a force. Luo Feng was surprised. Is every chaos state like this? These 20 chaos states under my name are from the Yu Kingdom and the Food Kingdom. Luo Feng said.
Yes.
Ancestor Yuan nodded. All 20 chaos states are like this, all recruiting eternal true god elites for this mysterious force. I can even detect that in a wider range, such as the Food Kingdom, Yu Kingdom, and even some other places, this force should be recruiting eternal true gods and elites. The scope is very large. Morosa opened his mouth. My clone traveled to various places to investigate. The scope of infiltration of this force is difficult to predict. Oh, Luo Feng frowned slightly. Daring to infiltrate such a large range, with the Food Kingdom Lord and a host of other existences turning a blind eye, this force is not a small one. They don't recruit much. For every large city, they only recruit 3 or 5 every time they go through the selection process. Ancestor Yuan said, I've found out about all this and I don't dare to act rashly. This force is not to be messed with. Morosa also said solemnly, I'll ask you Shui Kingdom Lord first. Luo Feng smiled faintly and sat there. Instantly contacted the Yushui Kingdom Lord through Karma voice transmission and briefly talked about the situation that Morosa and the others had probed. Brother Luo He, this force is called the Mother River of Life. In the origin continent, roughly 30% of the territory has been infiltrated. All recruiting eternal true god elites, they are not easy to mess with. Luo Feng said, Thanks, I know what to do. When Luo Feng heard the name of the Mother River of Life, he understood. Master Emperor Chu had informed about this mysterious force. Knowing some of the other side's realities, Luo Feng had a plan. Ancestor Yuan, Luo Feng said, you send a clone to one of their branch strongholds, and informed them that they should withdraw from their territory forever. Ancestor Yuan understood as soon as he heard this. If they want to make a move, just disperse your clone. No need to confront them head-on. Luo Feng said. Understand? Ancestor Yuan nodded. How? What's the origin of this force? This force is called Mother River of Life. Luo Feng laughed. Since it was hiding in the shadows, it wasn't enough to fear. Ancestor Yuan nodded. I'll go meet them now. Ancestor Yuan left immediately. Master, I'll leave first as well. Morosa spoke. Leaving Master Emperor Chu and the Mother River of Life, there was still some help. It occurred to Luo Feng that if that Mother River Lord descended, he would be able to get Master to come. In the information that Emperor Chu told Luo Feng, the origin continent, some of the peak existences, which ones he had friendship with and which ones he had enmity with, could be clearly documented. Luo Feng reflected the world with one thought, started observing the vast territory under his command to understand the movements of the origin ancestor Yuan's illusory clone. Normally, Luo Feng wouldn't carry out world reflection at all times. After all, it would take effort. Even if he reflected the behavior of countless living beings within the vast territory, he would usually instinctively ignore it. Only some special things would catch his attention. Inside Cuyang City, the most prosperous core city of the Cuyang Chaos State, this was also one of the 20 chaos states under Luo Feng's command. An illusory clone of the ancestor Yuan walked within the city. This force was about to recruit internal members in Cuyang City in tens of days. The eternal true god elites who received their invitation would all rush over. Ancestor Yuan quickly arrived outside of a cave. His figure was like an illusion. The formations of this cave naturally entered a square in the cave. Which Chaos Realm great sage dares to invade my sect? An angry voice came. It's guest official Yuan from the Flame Wind, Ancient Kingdom. It's me. Yuan stood in the square. His gaze swept in all directions as he calmly said, City Lord Luo has ordered one party to quickly withdraw from the 20 chaos states under the City Lord's command.